Hello and welcome. It is time to dig up some treasure as we discuss the first version of Treasure Island. Treasure Island was released in 1950 by Walt Disney Pictures, and it is based off of the books by Robert Louis Stevenson back in 1883. Now, this film is important because this is the first completely live action film made from Walt Disney Studios. As well as this was the first film that was completely in color from them. The story is simple. It is about pirates, and you have young Jim Hawkins.
Bobby Driscoll, the 1949 Academy Award winner for his outstanding performances in The Window and So Dear to My Heart, plays Jim Hawkins, the boy who faced 1,000 dangers.
Who ends up going on an adventure with Long John Silver.
Long John Silver, portrayed by that world-famous star, Robert Newton.
Who is this evil pirate, but he's the villain, but he's not the villain, but he is, but they end up liking him in the end. And even though he shoots some people, they all shoot some people, and they're pirates, and they do bad things, and it's like, it's confusing.
One more step, Mr. Hands, and I'll blow your brains out.
The character development is not the greatest. This was in 1950 after all, so it is more focused on the plot compared to character backstory, and it was a little bit hard to follow at times because I'm not familiar with the material. So you're basically going into this adventure trying to understand, and it's kind of slow pacing even though it's only an hour and a half long, and it's more of this real-time feel to it where there's not that much action happening until a certain amount of time, and there's a lot of build up for this one event that's happening, and it's all centered around finding treasure. So the basic story is that they end up going onto this island looking for treasure, and meanwhile Jim Hawkins is this boy who ends up finding this other pirate that was marooned.
Poor Ben Gunn, marooned on Treasure Island.
That Long John Silver first abandoned on this island 5 years ago, and half of the crew is the captain's crew that was with the good captain, and the other half of the crew is Long John Silver crew, which is the villains, and they kind of fighting in between each other, and there's a lot of inner drama between the pirates, and they have to figure it out and also find this treasure. And that's all that happens. Of course, at the end, the pirate that was abandoned on the ship had the treasure because he was on the island for 5 years, so of course he had plenty of time to find this treasure. Long John Silver ends up getting it, but at the end they all are happy again and everyone helps each other out, and it's just a little bit weird. So it's interesting to check out. The cinematography is a little bit unique. I mean, again, 1950, this is all brand new to them, but there are a couple of shots I really liked, and I liked the angles they went with. However, the acting is very, 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 very overacting at times. A lot of the people that were actors were over the top with deaths, and at the same time, now it's completely laughable how they die, how the fighting is, and the effects that they used back then are really low budget now, but that's all they had back then. I mean, they did a good job trying it out, but obviously it does not stand up to the quality that we have today. And because this was a pirate film, and because most of the pirate films that I grew up with were Pirates of the Caribbean and also the Disney ride, I kept relating them to each other even though they're completely two separate stories. So I will admit that I was a little bit biased and had Pirates of the Caribbean theme park ride as well as the films in my head while watching this entire film, and I know they are two different stories, but you can't help but compare the two of them because they are very similar subject matter. It's an interesting film if you do like pirate films and you just want to check out some Walt Disney classics. I would say give this a shot, but it is a very basic storyline, not too much happens, and it is more drama adventure after all, but it is still a good quality film. It's not a bad film at all, so give it a shot if you like. And we're going to continue on looking at other treasure islands. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Muppet Treasure Island. That one should be a lot more exciting than this one. So stay tuned, and as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.